Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And look at this. Our starting screen actually changes according to what episode we are on. So let me actually get my controller enabled and continue on our adventure. Unfortunately, our best friend seems to have been murdered. Oh, there's our hands. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. So, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya! Okay, nope, she took care of us pretty quickly. What the? That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law, and we're gonna have to do it again. It's kind of weird staring at her upside down. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. I mean, this thing was outside, so there's no way I put this on myself.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh yes, it was. I remember clearly. Thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled the sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that you killed Kazuma. You know, that greatest detective guy, Sherlock Holmes, he probably could have figured that out. But apparently no? Unless he kept that to himself. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up here? Alright, we're gonna investigate this place. I want to see what happened. Well, in the light of the evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me. I'm sorry. No. Oh, that's not enough? What? I'm not sure yet. Can't rule out the possibility that you use some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in the position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please, don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you don't do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right, she's really fixed on that conjuring, whether we're using a black magic. Well, anyway, I should make a start on the investigation in here, examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Okay, finally we can examine. What can we talk to her about first? We already talked to her about everything. So let us examine. Oh, this guy is still here. I guess he's okay with me just being around. How do I... Oops. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? I mean, if it is relevant... Alright, I won't read it. But what if it's relevant? Gosh darn. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either, but in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Okay, let's see what else there is. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so confused. I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. Are you, Naruto-san? What are you trying to tell me? Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I'm sure you carefully look around. Oh, those are the buttons I have to press. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. There we go. Now we can look around properly. I guess we'll look around this area specifically first. Here's the luggage I was stowed in. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Oh yes, I see it says this way up in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman would have been able to read it. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in there. Oh my gosh. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Okay, let's see. What else can we investigate? Shelving we can investigate as well. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look. They've all toppled the same way. That's right. They've all leaned to the left. What's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked. Everything mowed down at once. I'm guessing he bumped into it on the right side of it. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-san doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruto-san. In a fit of rage, I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to have messed a few books up in the statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do in the case? I wonder. Oh, we're gonna take a better look. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. No, 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 don't touch it. Oh, you touched it. Isn't that messing with the crime scene, sir? How dare you? What's here now? These are the rules of the passage for travel aboard the SS Bureau. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are strictly forbidden. Well, he had a sword, and would we consider ourselves a pet? What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, let's try to investigate everything methodically. There's a air vent here. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which a fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must be connected to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that the rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. Maybe we should check the other room after we're done here. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own little secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. And because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Alright. There's the ink bottle, and let's see what he wrote. He wrote something down. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. What in the world? Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in it. Poor Kazuma. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. No, can't read it at all. What is it supposed to say? Tap? A poke? I can't read it. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruto-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean? I wonder. Did someone just use his hand to write? What? Did he just come out of there? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is. Oh, how we got in here? But he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Now, Huda-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he is investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Sato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? She really wants to meet him. By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press A on people across here, you can converse with them. Yep, okay. Oh, please do. Well, I'm curious about this. Let's look at this first. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Kinda looks like a bell. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a little cute trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it. What is it? I wonder. It has a sort of brick-like hue to it. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Alright, let's talk to Herlock Sholmes. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Is he just gonna ignore us? Maybe I should leave him be alone. I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. And there he is. Greetings, I hope I haven't disturbed you. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. No? Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicaments. Oh, well, that's true, at least. But how? How the deuce do I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bribon occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Wow, how did you come to that conclusion? Yes, I believe that summarizes the fact beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. I think your eyes deceive yourself. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-san. Why is everyone so gullible? What? And you're plotting a revolutionary too? It's a shameful behavior now, Ryunosuke-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there was no way I... okay. Smack to the face. 360 smack! Oh, 180. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. This very much is. I would like to continue exploring the room, if I may. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but I was not, right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. Ha! I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women around the world. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same, the inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susatsu-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. We will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do you feel uneasy about this? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Okay. The great detective? So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see, you're German. Sherlock, was it? No. I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Oh yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in the series of short stories then. Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. So he's not a great detective? Your inference is backwards. Backwards? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? Oh, we have bad news for you. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this matter seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subjects. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is without fail the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how can he look at me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Well, let's talk about Kazuma's death then. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? I haven't managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. Oh, goody. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their numbers, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto. Ah. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Alright, well, what were these two facts? Please enlighten us. Mr. Holmes, tell us please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in questions were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they really? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from the mere momentary glance of the scene of the crimes were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following the dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sherlock, Mr. Holmes? What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left in the victim's blood on the floor. I mean, yeah, that's obviously not Japanese. That is a Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma could have left the dying message in Russian? No, that's pretty obvious. At least he got one fact right. Oh, that's actually helpful to us. In the final moments, many find their native tongue filling their heads. But this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garbarov may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Garde, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decide it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. So he just found me by chance. Where you found Mr. Naruto sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. No, you're very wrong about that. Why is it that I'm Russian to you? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory served, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Oh, yes, thank you. And we have the crime scene added to our evidence. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Do you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian? Okay, your deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 parts. Ah, yes, the more sorbet details it was fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary William Boris Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was revealed. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary, are you, after all? Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. I might add, your names does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of the assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah, yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deed the man was perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with the newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in this article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyways? This Afghanistan place? Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you? I've absorbed all of its interest to me within its page, but I see no rubbish bin anywhere. Alright, well, we now got that revolutionary newspaper. And you may find the article on the back of the page interest as well. Oh, on the back. Cast your eyes over it sometimes if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret it. It's all written in Russia. I couldn't hope to read it, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Alright, yeah, I think we're gonna go take a look at that article that we have. Court records? Yes, we're going to take a look at this next time. So, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, or subscribe. And until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.